Last time,
the group is reunited with Jed, but he was hurt real bad by the vampires. Dave is able to heal him, and as per the Atlantean soldiers' wishes, they would leave them alone and travel on foot to the shores of the lake surrounding the elven capital. Dave finds a boat, and the group takes turns paddling across the lake, but before they can get to the shore, the boat starts to sink. Mimi is so tired, she turns into a duck. Wet, cold, and tired, the group crawls up on to the dark shores of Castle Xilo, where the ancient black dragon now rests.
What's brown and sticky? A stick!
Dungeons and Dragons and Daughters!
welcome everybody to another
Dungeons and Dragons and Daughters!
phenomenal episode of Dungeons and Dragons and Daughters.
I am Sam, and I play Mimi.
And I am Bertie, and I play Gallexsy.
And we've got Uncle Nate with us. We've got my little brother Nate. Hi, Nate.
Hello.
Thanks for joining. Nate is visiting us from out of town. He doesn't come into town very often, so we thought we'd use this as an opportunity to play some Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh!
All right. Should we just get into it?
Yeah, let's just get it. No funny introductions.
So, last time we left off, we had just gotten to the shores of Castle Xilo. Castle Xilo is on a large island in the middle of a very large lake.
That's where my auntie lives.
And it's nighttime. So we crossed the lake under the cover of night.
I'm still a duck.
Because the boat started to sink. And it went under, and we had to swim for the last 100 yards. Mimi was too tired to make the swim on her own, so she had to turn into a duck and paddle the rest of the way there. Yeah, you did, because you were about to drown. You were too tired. And it's nighttime, and the castle is in ruins, because it looked like that the dragon had just crashed into the top of this thing, and then just burrowed its way down.
Is there a basement in this castle?
There is a basement in this castle. So the girls themselves do not know the layout of this castle, but they are familiar with it. So as we get into it, I'm going to make them do rolls to see if they can remember the right direction to go in.
It's just been since I was like 63 last I've been here.
It hasn't been that long since you've been to the castle, but it's a large castle, and you fairly certain that you've never been everywhere inside the castle, especially down below, where you would assume that's where the dragon has gone to, because that's where all the gold and treasures and magical items of the Xilo Kingdom was kept.
Well, but we know, where the dining room is, or, where the hall to our bedrooms are.
Yep, you know where the bathroom's at if you got a tinkle.
I kind of got a tinkle.
I'm going down to take.
So you're looking at the castle right now, and the portcullis is up, the door is wide open, and you can see creatures milling about inside, and they've got a large bonfire that's burning in the courtyard inside the walls. And you can see other creatures running around on top of the walls, and they're carrying torches around too. But you're far enough away that they haven't seen you yet, but it does look like that there's a lot of creatures that are now in the castle. You don't know what they are, but from this distance, you're pretty sure that they're not elves. So what do?
I walk forward one step.
Shouldn't we rest? Are we all still tired?
Just...
If we know we're about to get into battle, if we know there's creatures up ahead.
Right, did anyone lose any hit points from the last adventure? I don't think... Yeah, no one lost any hit points. I don't think anyone used up any spell slots either.
I did. I used Mage Hand. That's a cantrip.
That's a cantrip. Doesn't use any spell slots. You can use that as many times as you want.
And I turned into a duck.
Oh, that's true. You did use up one of your wild shapes. So you could decide to do a rest.
Can we do a 4-hour rest?
Yeah, you could do a longer rest. Try and wait until morning.
Do we have any vegetation or trees around us?
There are trees, but not directly in front of the castle.
I'm already setting up my sleeping bag, so I'm taking a rest.
You are directly in front of the castle right now.
I think we should go off to the left or the right with a little bit
Yeah.
of crowd and cover.
Yeah, maybe not right in the entrance.
I'm laying down my sleeping bag.
And for Uncle Nate as well, we have two NPCs that are with us right now. We've got Jed, who is a dragonborn, very large, very strong. And we also have Guy, who's with us that we're not quite sure what he is.
He's a human.
He is a human, but he's a fisherman, and he fights with an oar.
So does he need a weapon?
Well, he does have a weapon.
Can he do spells?
He can't do spells.
He has a pan.
Well, as a human, so he's a human warrior, I'm guessing, or a human druid.
And
I
I
don't know.
He doesn't have any spells.
I asked Guy, what class
He's a
are you
muggle.
in?
what class are you?
No. Why are you in this
Do we have any
world?
tents? Do we have any type of a structure we can put up?
You have no, but you have bedrolls.
Okay.
Wait, let me do it.
You do not have a tent. Do not write that in. Do not write tent in. You do not have a tent.
I
Birdie.
have a doorknob. Would that help?
No, that would
That would not help.
help.
What about...
So we're gonna take 10 steps to the left off the beaten path. So I would say as a group decision, the whole group is going to move to the left into some vegetation and set up our rolls.
I don't move. I lay.
Well, can I need the two of you to roll a history check for me.
Oh, I'm super bad at history.
I'm good at history. And I got a 21.
Very nice.
Well, and I got 11.
All right. So, Mimi, you don't remember this, but Gallexsy, you remember this about Castle Xilo.
I don't remember a lot of things, okay?
Yeah, and that's perfectly fine. Gallexsy, you remember that to the west of the castle, so off to the left, there is some trees and some vegetation, and you do know that there is a small inlet of water from the lake that goes further into the island and actually goes into the castle. And you know that years ago that this was a exit point. It was an emergency exit to get out of the castle. And that could be a good way to get into the castle unseen.
And that's also how probably the elves escaped.
Potentially, yes. Some of the elves could have used that escape route to get out of the castle and away from the dragon.
If we want to rest, I have some matches. I do. It's written in my character. I have dancing lights.
So you could make a fire if you
Yeah,
wanted
we
to.
can make a fire.
Okay.
Does anybody have a stick? Oh.
Well, do we need to rest? Just to get up
Birdie's writing stick in.
her one spell point?
Even
Would that be the only reason to rest?
Yeah, Sam, do you get your wild shape back after a short rest? Oh, you do get it back at the end of the short rest.
Yes!
So short or long rest, you do get the ability back. So we could just rest for an hour.
I got it.
Or what about 4 minutes?
Or 1 second.
But it is nighttime.
It is nighttime, yes.
So I can make a fire so no one comes.
And
You
there's
just wrote a stick in.
So there's guards out on nighttime, so there may be a nighttime shift. Do they take shifts?
You don't know.
Would someone like to play with that Rubik's Cube?
To pass the time.
Yeah. Does anybody have a Rubik's
So, but because we are taking a short rest, you could choose different spells if you wanted to at this time.
No. I picked...
Okay, so you already picked out all the spells that you wanted? Okay. So yeah, everyone was at full hit points. No one had expended any spell slots. So really, the only reason to take a short rest is for Mimi to get her wild shapes back. And I think maybe to just do a little bit of chatting and planning on how you want to get into this castle.
I
So
don't want to do it.
you said that the castle was was broken up or looked ruined,
Correct.
run down.
ruins.
Could we roll an insight to see anywhere around the castle is a crossable wall?
Well, I did bring up how there is the secret entrance as well to get in. So
Is
you're,
there any parts of the wall that may also be an entrance?
well, the front entrance was wide open
Right.
as
But
well.
that-
But I'm
also
talking the
seems
walls
dangerous.
being broken down.
Roll and investigate for me.
I also...
Sure, you can investigate too.
Yeah, can I
We got a
too?
14.
19.
19?
17.
Okay.
Wait, no, I add to that. 19.
Wow, 2 19s. From where you guys are at, you don't see any other openings or breakage in the wall from where you're at. That doesn't mean that you couldn't go all the way around the castle and find some other openings that are there. But just on the side of the castle that you're at, there's no openings.
Have we already rested?
Sure.
Vision.
Yep. Unless there's anything else that you want to try and do while you spend this hour. I want the three of you to roll a perception check.
Oh, I'm really good at perception.
15.
Oh, I jinxed
9. No, yeah, 9.
I jinxed myself. I got 10.
You got a 10?
I got 15.
You got a 15? All right, Bird. You hear the clanking of leather and metal. And you hear the language of Draconic being spoken. Do you know that language?
Yes. I can understand it.
You're the only one that hears it from far away, so it's still too faint to understand what they're saying, but you do recognize it as Draconic.
I can't talk to them unless I use Tungus.
No, if you know the spell, or if you know the language Draconic, you could talk to them. And the spell is called Tongues.
Oh, I like Can I call it Tungus?
No.
Can we call it fungus?
Fine, you can call it Tungus.
Fungus.
If the choices are Tungus or Fungus, we're going to have to go with Tungus. All right, so you know that so you can hear that there are creatures walking towards you right now, but they haven't spotted you yet. You
It's
think
like a scout?
it might be, yeah, you suspect that it would be a patrol of some sort, but Gallexsy is the only one that hears it right now. So Gallexsy, what do you do?
There's someone over there. Duck. Wake up.
So you're telling everybody to hide. All right, I want everyone to roll a stealth check.
Oh my gosh, I just saying duck.
17.
Okay.
A stealth?
Yes, stealth. 8. Actually,
14.
14. Birdie, I'm going to give you advantage on that roll. So roll it again because you heard it first.
8.
Another 8?
No, I'm in 7. Can I do it again?
No, you can't do it again.
Come
It's not much better.
I
right.
got 13. Is that
Okay,
better?
so you grab your stuff up, and all of you jump into the bushes, and all of you start to hear these creatures coming towards us now, and they get to the spots of where you made your short camp, and that's when you realize that Gallexsy forgot her bedroll out in the spot of where you were at.
Mage hand, go and grab it, Mage hand.
You can grab it with Mage Hand?
Yeah,
Okay.
Mage hand's gonna pull it and be like,
I want you to roll Sleight of Hand to see if you can do it without them noticing.
14.
14? They do not notice it. So you reach out with your Mage Hand and very slowly, as they're walking by, just drag your bedroll slowly, quietly above the ground, and you pull it into the bushes without making noise just as they walk by.
So, since they're at our campsite, we have eyes on. Are we allowed to know what these creatures are now?
Yes.
Did someone put out the fire?
You did put out the fire. Yes. Yes. So that's what the stealth checks were for, to make sure to see if you could clean up the camp fast enough and clear everything out to make it look like that you weren't there.
She did.
And because hers was so low, she forgot one
She
thing.
forgot her bedroll out there, right? So, and it is 4 creatures that come walking by. They're not very big. They're only about 4 feet tall.
So they're like as big as Dave.
They're actually a little bit bigger than Dave, but roughly the same size. They're small. They're considered a small category for the creature. They are kobolds that are walking by.
Oh, no.
Guessing they don't like kobolds.
Well, kobolds were some of the first creatures that they ever went up against. But the last time that they attacked them, they were very, very low in level. So now you should be able to take care of kobolds no problem.
I hate goblins.
Right.
I hate goblins.
Goblins are the
my
worst.
enemy. I hate goblins. Well, Dave is my worst enemy, but goblins I hate.
Dave is not your worst enemy.
We just have so many.
So would it be insight to a roll to see what type of armor, weapons, things like that they have, or would that be?
They're not well armored. You can just see on them right now. They're not well armored.
So all light armor?
It's
breastplates, maybe?
Some of them aren't even wearing armor. It's just
Okay.
like some of them are just wearing like loincloths, and it looks like that they're only armed with like daggers.
Or
So
some of them are like wearing my type of clothing.
And
Yeah.
what is our range?
you're only like 15 feet away from them.
So should we engage or should we disengage?
I'm walking away.
So you're just gonna let them pass by?
So are we moving or are we just staying still, letting them pass by?
I think we should.
Well, actually, I'm standing still to listen to their conversation.
Are you
So
still
we're
a
just
duck?
gonna sit tight.
Okay.
She's still a duck.
I'm listening. Yeah, I'm a duck, so I can just waddle up.
Like waddle, waddle, waddle.
I thought we rested. I thought she.
We did rest.
But she turned back into a duck.
So you would have turned back into
No,
an elf.
I don't want to.
Well, they do have some conversation with each other, and for anyone that knows Draconic, they are.
I know it.
You know it? Does
No.
Dave know Draconic?
Dave
Okay.
does not know it.
Okay. So you two hear them talking about just how they hate doing patrols and hate having to just walk around in the dark looking for nothing. Like, no one's going to be coming here. All the elves, they ran away scared. They also say to each other, one of them says, like, all right, let's head back in 2 minutes and head back into the castle. So you sit tight in the foliage, and you stay very quiet, and you let them walk on by, finish their patrol. And once they're out of earshot, everything is quiet again.
Hello.
So now what do? So you're done with your short rest. Everyone should be back up to full health, get all their spell slots and abilities back.
Do you just want to go home?
Let's
We-
travel
we
to
are
the
home.
other side of the castle, to where we can see the lake or the small pond waterway.
The emergency exit?
Right.
And Mimi, we are home.
That's true. Gallexsy is home. Mimi, not so much. Mimi like to live in the woods.
So Gallexsy would know the castle very well if this is her home.
Correct.
But the kobolds might be in that exit. So, what if when we go to the exit over there, what if the kobolds are camping over there?
It's very possible they could be there.
Darn
But
it.
but it is a secret exit, so it's possible that they actually haven't even found it yet.
That would make sense.
How deep is the water?
So the
20 feet.
the water is pretty deep. It's a pretty deep lake. But
It's like 2 yards.
Oh, Dave, you want to go first to the exit? Okay, you can go. Scoot your booty there.
but there is a trail next to the water that you can follow that
I
leads
did.
towards the castle.
Dave's going first.
Yeah, he's going first.
See what I mean? Dave always goes first.
Well, because I don't really like him.
As a druid, just send the midget in first.
Right. He's a halfling.
Close enough.
How about this? You can fly
So I see
there.
my So is Dave a professional swimmer here?
No, he's actually kind of bad.
Yeah.
Well, again, you don't have to get into the water. There's a trail next to the water that you can follow up towards
But
the
it does,
castle.
there's no door or anything into the castle. Only the water goes in
Nothing from
underneath?
what you can see yet.
Okay. So they're making Dave walk up to the water.
Well, yeah, because
Well, no. So it's a small inlet of water that leads up to the castle wall, and then there's a trail next to it that also leads up to the wall.
But there's no visible doors.
Not from where you can see right now.
So let's get closer to see if we can see if there's any visible doors.
well, you can go closer.
Well, Dave walks closer to see if there's any doors or openings.
I get caught in a trap.
Do an investigation for me.
13.
13? Okay.
12.
12? Birdie, do you want to do an investigation too?
I got 11.
You got an 11. Okay. So all of you get up to the wall. And Galaxy, you know that this is where the entrance is. This is where the secret exit is.
So I'm putting the passport.
I know. But and all of you start looking around on the wall and in the water, and you can't find the opening.
Then I hit a brick.
You're gonna start hitting the bricks.
Mage hand.
Aren't you going to make some noise?
How about Mage hand does it?
No, I do it super lately. Like,
So you start looking around some more. Okay.
Mage
So
hand's doing it.
both of you start feeling around some more, and I want you both to roll another history check.
I'm super bad at history.
Trying to remember how to trigger this opening.
I'm good at 10.
13.
10.
13. Okay. You still.
I go again.
Nope.
I go again. Yeah. I go again.
So you can't figure out how to open the door.
So what if we must have to swim under the water Because you said the water leads into the castle. Right?
Yep.
So what if we swam under the water and put us on the other side of the wall? Or does the wall go down into the water as well?
You can't tell from where you're at.
So I'm jumping in the water to look.
Okay. Does Dave?
You don't have night vision.
Can you roll a survival check for me?
Survival.
I have 11.
Okay.
Or 12.
I do
Sorry.
it?
9 and
Can I
3 is
also
12.
do it?
Well, hold on. He's going. So you see Dave jump into the water, and he starts swimming underneath the surface. So under the surface of the water. So as soon as that happens, do you dive in too?
Yes.
Okay.
This is our survival.
So we're all just getting in the water.
And I got an 8.
You got an 8?
Here, I'll go 2. I'm not done.
So we're all
But
getting in the
I have
water.
night vision.
23.
20.
I
Okay.
was a natural 20 though,
All right.
and I get a +3.
That was a natural 20.
Yeah, and I got a +3, so 23.
All right. So you all dive into the water, and Mimi, because you got a 20, you dive. You do this perfect arcing dive straight into the
And
water.
I just do a
And
belly
no
flop.
splash. No
yeah,
splash.
no splash.
And I just do a belly flop.
Gallexsy just sort of trips
And do a
and belly flops into the water.
I do that.
And Dave, this all happens up above you as you're swimming down, and then Mimi just shoots past you like a bullet. 'Cause
And
she's just
I
perfect
land
form.
with no.
And I'm just sinking.
Gallexsy's just just bloop 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 bloop. And Mimi and Dave, you two see it at the same time. The wall does not go down all the way to the bottom. There is an opening underneath that you think that you'd be able to swim under.
Is the wall where it's like up here and then the water goes like here, but the tunnel's like down here, kind of?
Correct.
So we couldn't breathe underwater.
That's right. You cannot breathe underwater.
Turn it into.
It's not a far swim though.
I know, but I want to turn it. But what if I drown?
Well, I will let you know when that's about to happen, so that you could turn into some sort of creature that can breathe underwater.
Is the opening big enough for 2 people to pass through?
Not at the same time.
So
Only
is
one
it one
person.
person pass through?
Only one person.
I'll
at a
go
time.
first.
I'll go. Wait, I'm still.
So
still
Dave doesn't have to be
floating
first for
down.
this one. We just jumped in the water first.
So do you want Dave to go first?
Yeah. No.
Okay, so this is okay. All right, maybe you go first.
I mean, I'm a perfect
So
swimmer.
we're swimming underneath, and now we would be in the castle when we come up on the other side.
So Mimi, you dive down into the dark water because it is nighttime and it is pitch black as you're going through. And so
No, but I have night vision.
that's true.
And I also-
You do have dark vision, and so you're feeling your way through, and you get to the other side, and your head breaks the surface of the water, and it is still very, very dark. But you are now inside the castle.
No torches? or
No
anything?
torches have
But
been
I
lit.
can see.
I know you can see.
Oh, and I has dancing lights, so when he comes out, he's like,
So normally,
Should've.
well, so Dave, as a halfling, doesn't have dark vision. So this would be a very scary moment for any other creature of diving underneath a wall into a strange castle inhabited by, we're assuming, aggressive
Kobolds.
creatures that want to kill us. And you're swimming in the dark, you can't breathe, and you're fumbling around in there. Because you're a halfling, halflings are very brave. So I'm not going to make you roll for anything like that. So, but you fumble your way through, you get under the wall, and your head breaks the surface as well. In Gallexsy, same thing for you. You manage to swim underneath,
Yep.
and you come out on the other side as well.
No, she bonks her head. I'm going to cast dancing lights.
Okay. So 4 floating globes of light appear above your head, and Dave, now you can see the room. You two, because you have dark vision, you can always see the room.
They were like,
Why do you even need that?
How big is the room?
It's a large room.
it's like it's bigger than the room we're in.
It's-
Oh, I remember this. It's the pet training area.
No, you've never been to this room in the castle before. I don't know if you've been to. You remembered where it was. I don't know if you've ever been here before. Okay. Okay, you'd been here before. All right.
So there's no living life forms in the room.
Correct. So Gallexsy, it looks very much like the last time you were here, except there's no torches on the walls. All of them have been taken down. And another thing that's missing from this room is that this room was filled up with many, many boats for elves to get in and get out on the waterway.
So I think
And all those boats are now gone.
So I expected them. They
So
travel.
can we do a search in the room?
Sure.
yeah, I'm gonna investigate.
Do an investigation.
9.
Ooh.
10.
I got a 18.
And 18. All right. All right. So Dave, you find both you and Gallexsy, you find a lever
skeleton.
on the wall, which you assume will open up the door to get out.
Don't open it yet. It's gonna make a lot of noise.
Yep.
So don't. We should not.
And
many-
maybe you see this too, and you do actually find there is still one boat that is left.
Is it in working condition?
Oh, it's in perfect condition.
It's called.
Okay. Is it in the water or is it on the shore?
It is in the water. Yes.
Okay.
It's called Old Scabs.
How many doors are in this room?
There is one door leading out of this room.
Into the castle.
So yes, there is one door that's leading out of this large room that you assume is leading into the castle.
Can any of us carry a boat in inventory?
No,
Too big.
it's too big. Nobody has like a bag of holding or anything like that.
Okay.
Where did Guy and Jed go?
They're still with us. Yeah.
But I told Jed, hold this.
So we're leaving. I think we should leave Guy behind because Guy is the one that has no magic, no abilities.
Well, he does have a super advanced laser gun that he found in an old ancient
And he
ruins.
fixed it.
But he's still trying to figure out how it works.
Oh, so he can't use it as a.
Well, he tried once and he missed the mark pretty easily. But
Okay.
so you're not sure if it's because he just doesn't know how to use it or if he just aimed badly.
All right, so let's leave Guy back at the boat to secure this boat in case we need it.
No, actually, let's bring him 10 more people. Come on. Actually, I think he'll make a lot of noise, so let's actually leave him.
You want to leave Guy behind?
He's like a child.
He is like a child.
He seems like a child. His personality
He's like,
is
okay, yeah, sure, I could stay behind and guard the boat. So this is gonna be our exit, right? So if we need to make a quick getaway, this is the way you're gonna be coming.
Yeah, you're the getaway driver. It's the most
Keep
important.
the boat running.
It's the most important person.
So should we
Because
give him
they
the
have-
oars then too?
Because they have to stay still and not touch anything.
Well, he has his oar, and
I'll give you mine.
the oars are in the canoe.
And I'll give you my other oar.
Okay.
This also
So
says
so should we have him start a fire and create some type of like a little base?
I still have some matches.
But I told Jed to carry.
Does anybody have any
KFC.
traps that we could set or anything like that?
I do.
You have traps?
Well, I have a herb balsam kit. What?
Herbalism kit?
Yeah, what's
You
in
really
that?
can't make any traps out of that.
Well, I remember I had a rope.
Can we search again for any like old pieces of wood or rope or anything in the area?
Well,
We might be able to
I
create a
have-
trap.
I have a rope in my backpack.
Of course, I got a 1.
You're like, you look around, man, there's nothing in here I can use.
Can I
And
try?
you shrug and it's like, all right, let's go.
Can I try?
Okay, fine, you can try. Yeah.
Okay, so which
try.
one? Is it inside? Inside?
No, he was searching. He was just
Searching.
searching to see if there was anything else in the room that could be used for traps.
I got 11.
You got an 11. You don't find anything else.
Wait, do I have to add anything?
You tell me.
I got 12.
Wait, where? Is it investigation?
I got a
It
12.
would be investigation.
Oh,
Yeah,
then it'd be
investigation.
17.
17.
12.
Okay,
12.
you got 12.
And I have rope in my backpack.
So you do find some things, Gallexsy, but you're not sure if they could be used for traps. So I want you to roll a survival check for me now.
Uh-oh, I have a minus for that. Oh, never mind, I have a 10. Because I was joking. Actually, no,
7.
I'm in a 7.
You got a
A
7?
7.
All right.
7.
So you do see some ropes and some other materials for doing maintenance on the boats and things like that, but nothing is coming to mind that you can make a trap out of.
Wait, no. Galaxy, tell me that you found rope and stuff, and then I could do a survival check.
Do we have
I
a ceiling
found
on this
rope.
room? Is
Yep, there is a ceiling.
Okay.
So it is completely covered with water coming in. So the water's
Correct.
kind of noisy.
Wait, Galaxy, you found a rope?
It's a fairly quiet room. There's only one way in or out of this room.
So if we were to start a fire, it would fill up with smoke, and we would not be a good idea.
Right.
Let's go open the door. Dave goes up, opens the door first.
So Guy's going to stay back.
Yes.
And so, well, before you leave, Guy asks, "Hey, while I'm waiting here, do you think I could see that blue hollow cube that you got from the Musketeers?
Sure,
I
but
just want to take a look at it, mess around with it a little bit while I'm waiting here.
sure.
You can
But don't wreck it.
I
You can
won't.
also do my Rubik's Cube, but don't.
Oh, the ruby. Oh yeah, I'll take that too.
Alright, fine, you can break it.
Yeah,
It's all in 1 second.
yeah. This is great. And he sits down and he starts messing around with the device. He's like, I'm good. Get going. Thumbs up.
Does Guy have night vision?
No, he does not.
Oh.
So there was wood over there. So I think we should light Guy a torch just so he can see what he's
Yeah,
doing.
let me put this match on.
We're gonna use some matches and we're gonna give him a torch.
Okay.
So he's got some light. So we have.
You've got a firebolt spell.
I do?
It's a cantrip of yours, so you could very easily always start to fire, regardless if you have matches or not.
So let's definitely do that for him. So that way he's not just sitting in the dark.
So you shoot out your hand and shoot a firebolt at one of the torches that are in the sconces.
Wand, hello.
With your wand, sure. And little shot of fire shoots out of the end of your magic wand and hits the torch and it lights up fire. He's like, "Oh, thanks, Gallexsy. That's much better."
So Dave opens the door.
Yep, and it's a thick wooden door that's not locked, and it opens easily. And it
you
looks like
reach
it
it?
was used recently.
So they know this area.
Well, no, if anything, you surmise it's like the elves that were in the castle when they abandoned it. This is the way that they had used because
okay.
most of the boats were gone. So, and you do come out into. So when you open the door, you're on a landing with some stairs, stone stairs that lead down, and it is still dark in this area as well. So it looks like that there hasn't been anyone here recently. It does look like that there has been some structural damage to the castle, and so some water has been starting to leak into this area of the castle as well. And so you can tell in this room that there shouldn't be water, but water has leaked in. So there's about 2 feet of water that is now pooled on the floor.
Is there anything in the room? Any type of barrels? Old merchandise or anything? So this is just a stairwell.
Well, actually, no, that's a good question. So, yes. So there are some things that you do see in the room that look really out of place. There are some broken wheelbarrows, and there are also some ale casks, and it does look like that there's some piles of clothes, and there is actually some paintings and some busted furniture that looks like it just got dragged down here and piled up in this room.
So I'm gonna search the room. I'm gonna search the clothes
Me too.
specifically.
Okay.
0.
Did you have -1?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you got a 1.
I got a 1.
You got a critical failure. Okay.
But I'm gonna search 2. I get 9.
Okay.
Here we go.
Dave's like, oh, it looks good enough.
So
14.
so as you're searching, so Dave, you start rummaging around. You're not finding anything, and
Pick up one
that's
shirt, put it back down.
yeah, and that's when a hand reaches out of the rubble and grabs yours. I need everybody to roll initiative.
Dave got 11.
When you said that, I just found this bird. I got a 6.
I got a 21.
I got a 6.
6. Gallexsy got a 21, and Jed is there, and Jed got an 8. So
Is a hand a human hand or is it a?
it's a zombie hand
Oh,
that reached out of the rubble.
We're gonna turn into a zombie.
All right, so Gallexsy, you get to go first.
I got some brains in my head. I got bread. You want a bread? You want a bread?
You're gonna try and reason with the zombie.
Yeah. Want a no, I'm gonna do tongue guess, like. Cause you go,
No,
It's
no,
called
that's
fungus.
that's not the way. That's not the way zombies work. You can't talk to them. They're
Hey,
they're
I got a
undead.
braid. Look it. I got a braid. I got a braid. I got a braid right here in my head.
So you're trying to distract the zombie to come towards you. Okay, just by talking to it and saying, "I got a brain. I got a brain."
Yeah.
Okay, no, well, you know that the zombie will not understand you.
They sound like,
No.
You try talking zombie to it. Okay. It doesn't react. It looks like it's very very much fixated on Dave and wants to take a bite out of Dave's arm.
Okay. Let's do the true strike.
True strike? You've never used that spell before. Do you know what it does?
No. I can use mage hand and just pull out Dave's brain and give it to the zombie.
All right.
Here we go.
So here's what true strike does.
Want
It takes a full action to do this, but you extend your hand and point a finger at a target in range. Your magic grants you a brief insight into the target's defenses. On your next turn, you gain advantage on your first attack roll against the target, provided that the spell hasn't ended.
Let's do it on the zombie.
You can do it on the
So
zombie.
it's really not any attack at all.
No, it's not-
More
no,
like a.
No, it's just it's a way to find out what the weaknesses are on the creature, and then on her next attack, then she gets advantage for it. Okay, so you cast True Strike on the zombie, and you do know that it's not a very powerful creature. It's pretty weak. It's susceptible to all kinds of damage, with the exception of it. I don't believe it can be charmed. All right, so you know that the zombie is immune to poison, but it is susceptible to all other kinds of damage.
Well, I got poison spray in your cave.
And it would be immune to that.
Oh, that's bad.
So that's your... Oh, and you also know that you have to do a lot of damage to the zombie in order for it to stay dead. If you don't do enough damage in one hit, a lot of times it will keep coming at you. So now...
It's kind of tough.
So it's kind of tough, yeah. But not a lot of hit points. You just got to be able to do a lot of damage in one hit to really kill it.
So it's like a weakling?
Yep. So it's the zombie's turn, and Dave, the zombie reaches up and tries to bite your arm, but you're able to pull your arm back out of its grasp very quickly and get away from it. So Dave, now it's your turn.
Dave is then going to strike the zombie with his mace.
Do it.
Because it made him very mad. 15.
15, that is a hit. So now you roll the damage for your mace.
Oh, okay. See, ours was just with the 20. I got a 2.
So next to your mace is going to show what the damage is. I think it's a D8
8.
plus 6 or something like that.
126 plus 4.
1d6 plus 4.
So I did 8 damage.
All right, so you did 8 damage, so you hit it, and it's still coming after you. Now, Dave, remember, you have the lightning damage that you can choose to use as well. So if you choose to use lightning damage with that attack, then you can do an additional 4d6 damage on it. But you do Mimi and Jed are with you as well, and so they would still have a chance to go.
So I'm gonna put my shield up so that way he can't bite us. Bite
Okay.
me.
Well, that automatically gets worked into your armor class already.
Okay, so I don't have to have that up. So I'm in defensive stance already.
It's assumed that your shield is in your hand. All right, so now is going to be Jed's turn. So he cuts the zombie's arm off that was reaching out at you. Mimi, it's your turn.
So I'm going to use the lemon spear.
Flaming sphere. Okay,
It's like my favorite, so...
that is your favorite spell. So he has to do a dexterity saving throw on this, or take half, and if he makes it, then he gets half
I'm
damage.
doing level 2.
Doing level 2? Well, so I'll caution you with that, in that the zombie does not look like it's in very good shape. It looks like it is ready to drop, so you may not want to use a level 2 spell slot for this.
Level 1 then?
Sure.
Because I have level 1, 2, and 3.
Right. Or do you have a cantrip that does damage as well? Because it's like the zombie it got hit by a mace, it got his arm cut off, and it looks like it couldn't take much more damage. Or you could attack it with your staff.
Yeah, I'll do my... I'm going to...
And you could do shillelagh.
I'm going to... Shillelagh. I'm going to cast shillelagh, and then I'm going to go... Yeah!
Then you're going to hit it with your staff. Okay. So you pull out your quarterstaff, and it starts glowing blue with magical energy. And you go to strike at the zombie. So roll a d20 for me. What
It was a bad fail.
what did you get?
I got a 4.
You got a 4, but you get to add your spell bonus to it. What's your spell bonus? Look on your spell sheet, and up at the top, 6. So what did you get? You hit. That still hits.
I know, but I think it's super bad.
So I want you to roll a d8.
I got a 1.
1 point of damage on the zombie. So the zombie is still up, and that would now make it Gallexsy. It's your turn now.
Okay. I'm going to punch him.
You gonna punch him? You get advantage on it.
I do?
Yeah.
I'm going to punch him. Okay, do I need a roll?
Yeah, you do. Yeah, absolutely. You need the roll.
So what would I add?
Just roll again.
You would roll your strength modifier to it. What is your strength modifier?
She got 8.
Yeah, but what's your strength modifier?
Plus 1.
So-
So 8.
You got an 8? Okay, but you get advantage on it, so you can roll it again.
Okay.
5.
Okay, well the 8 still hits. I just wanted to see if you'd do better. So you punch the zombie, and Because you're not proficient with it, the way that unarmed damage works is that when you punch someone, you do 1 point of damage plus your strength modifier, which is 1, right? So you do 2 points of damage when you punch it. A mage punching a zombie, what?
He doesn't have any bones. So
Why'd you punch a zombie? You could
So,
take
like,
the risk of biting
I just
you.
did it in the chest. I'm like, oh, a zombie feels so disgusting.
And its head collapses underneath your fist, and you punch it in the brain, and the zombie drops to the
he
ground
doesn't
dead.
have a brain.
Well, no, they do. They do. It's
Very tiny.
I can't believe you just killed a zombie with a punch. A wizard just punched a zombie in the face and killed it.
Not even with a spell.
So, but in this room, so it looks like that they've just been piling up a bunch of stuff that they found around the castle that they haven't had. They don't assign a lot of value to. So there's like clothes and some other furniture and things like that. But there's no gold. There's no weapons. There's nothing that's in here. It's just a lot of.
I was looking to find some gold.
Well, you don't find any
I
gold.
think we should go up the stairs.
So there's 2 other ways that are out of this room. You can go further down the hallway through the 2 feet of water, and there's some stairs that lead up. And I want you girls to roll an insight. Well, no, because roll a history check for me, because I want to see if this can help you determine what's the right way to go.
I got 11.
I got a 12.
You got a 12?
11.
Okay.
Oh, and when I'm passing through, I was like, "Hey, that's my bed!" And then they just brought.
Well, no, you were in the depths of the castle right now. You were underneath where all the main rooms would be,
I
of
know,
where your
but-
bedrooms would be.
I know, but I'm like, "Hey, that's my bed! They took out my bed!"
Oh, your bed got smashed up and thrown down
Yeah,
here.
so I'm like, "Hey, I had a unicorn on that, and now it's good. It looks like a dead unicorn."
Yeah, they totally smashed up. Yeah, they totally smashed up your bed, and your bed is there, rotten in the water right now. That's what the kobolds did to your room.
Wait, can I see my room?
No, you can't see your room from here.
I want to go into it.
All right. So with those insight checks that you rolled, so you do roughly remember the layout of the rooms underneath the castle. And so the 2 ways that are out of this room, you know that if we keep going straight and we keep going through the water, that will eventually lead us to the treasure room. But it's not the most direct path. You do remember that if we go up the stairs, there is actually another secret passway that leads directly to the treasure room. And
To my room.
not to your room,
That's
to
my
the
room.
treasure room. But you're assuming that that's where the dragon is at, is that it went to the treasure room because that's where it would go to collect for its hoard. Girls, what do you think?
I want to go kiss my room.
We're not going to her bedroom.
Yes, we are.
No, we're not. No, we're not.
Your old bedroom was by mine.
No.
We were sisters. You broke up with me.
We're cousins.
So Gallexsy, the other 2 in your Jed thinks it's a really bad idea as well. So I'll let you. You could go off on a little side quest of your own if you wanted to, but no one else wants to go with you up to your room.
Okay.
Oh my God.
Okay, no, I don't want to be by myself. It's gonna be scary.
So let's go down a flight of stairs,
Yeah.
down to the main hallway that is a direct line to the treasure room.
Okay. So the 2 exits out of that room. One was an open path that did lead through other areas below the castle and eventually ended up at the treasure room. But the other way leads up to a landing that you know has a secret passageway that is a direct line to the treasure room.
Correct.
So you find the opening. Actually, no. I want you, all 3 of you, do an investigate again. I want to see if you can find the opening for this one, because you had trouble finding the last secret passage.
15.
15 as well.
15. Okay.
Wait, what was it for?
Do an investigate.
14.
You got a 14. Okay, so 14 and 2 15s. All right. So the 3 of you walk forward, and the door opens up automatically when you get there. It's like,
Like,
oh.
like with a pressure plate underneath us or something?
You're not sure what triggered it. It's just like as you walk forward, the door opened up automatically.
I think the door remembers me.
You think so?
Wait.
Yeah.
So yeah. So the doors open up. There's a hallway there.
I walked
Direct.
I
and
walked
can we
in.
see the treasure room?
You
from here?
can't see the treasure room
So
from
it's
here.
200.
Okay, I'm
feet.
walking.
Or
It's
I'm
yeah.
walking.
It's a long hallway.
I'm walking.
Unless, Gallexsy or Mimi, if you want to roll another history check, I can give you a little bit more detail about the hallway.
19.
Gallexsy, you know that this is a very long hallway.
It's about like 20 meters. 20.
But it's 200 feet long.
Wow, that's like 20 meters.
And as you walk forward, all three of you walk forward into this hallway.
Dun-dum.
Or all four of you walk into this hallway. You start to remember that there was something different about this hallway. That you remember that there was maybe another exit other than the one at the other end, maybe? But that's when your thought gets interrupted, when the stone wall slams down shut behind you, and a blue portal appears. And you hear the rumbling and see a large steel ball rolling out of the portal and is about ready to crush all of you.